Them hustle sote, they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar, just they get the higher power. Over naira. See them talk say, make we off mind. But thank God say, my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My ego diary politico. Oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. This one not they off in mind. Oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Good morning to you.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó.
Good afternoon to you.
Diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun ti dé.
Good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun
Lórí
live.
lórí YouTube.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Tonight is going to be the People's Parliament. Take a moment, read the caption of the broadcast, read the description as well, and then there is a link in the description, okay? Or check the comments if you want to be part of this tonight, right? You know what to do.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ ṣẹ́ o kẹ́gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀.
Everyone should move on. The elections are over. The country must move forward. Forward to where? That's from Goodluck. Egbere Jonathan.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí
I'm
ìlú.
going to get you into the program, okay? I'm going to get you all into the, into the conversation. And then if you feel like you would like to come on the screen and share your own views on this, latest developments, you are welcome. Use the link.
Ìjọba bá rúfin o. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Some are already saying
Mayegun ti dé.
from obedience
Nígbà rìbá.
to civil disobedience.
Mayegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
You would have to choose a side.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
It is going to be us versus them. Who are the us?
Ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
You have to figure it out.
Ìlú ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé.
Today. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live. The GO of the Temple of Truth welcomes you to the temple tonight. The People's Parliament, for those who have participated before, it's a free platform where you are indeed free to express your own views. I mean, no matter how opposing or supporting it is, it doesn't matter. Your own view on what is going on. But to get to that, you will need to use the link in the comment section, okay, or in the description itself. And then make sure that the device you're going to use is not the same device you are using to watch this broadcast, okay? Get a separate one and go into a quiet room when it is time for the parliamentarians to come on tonight. But just before then, I am going to bring everyone up to date on the latest happenings, right? Before we will begin to bring on the parliamentarians, okay? Each parliamentarian would have at least 5 minutes to say their mind, okay? And then on to the next one, and then you yield the mic onto the next one. That is how we roll it, okay? The opinions of every one of us who is going to come on tonight, right, is yours. Mine is mine too. But if you are bold enough, at least to express your own views on the your support or disgust for what is going on in Nigeria today, you are welcome. It is as simple as that. Okay, so for those who have read the caption and then shared the broadcast, thank you. So maybe the next 1 hour, I am going to be the one kind of presenting. Then afterwards, the parliamentarians will begin to pop up on our screens. You can be the parliamentarian, anyone and everyone. I usually kind of reminds the Lagos Abobakus, the defenders of the drug baron or the drug trafficker, the certificate forger, Kolu. I always encourage them to at least join the parliament. Okay? Like, don't feel like you just want to be a keypad warrior. Okay? If you can afford it, I encourage you to also use the link. All right? And every parliamentarian that comes on, they come on their own volition. And you can be one of them instead of staying in that comment. All right? And then masturbating in public. Having said that, now let us get into it. This morning, Goodluck Egbere Jolantan was welcomed into the Asshole Rock by Kolu. He was there to congratulate him, okay, for the Supreme Court victory. And just to remind every one of us, okay, forgery. In fact, let me put it this way. For those of you who knows and have the evidence, which is pretty much everywhere in the public, of Kolu's criminality and criminal record, okay, whether it is for forgery, drug trafficking, money laundering, sure you understand, and every other thing that you know, right? The Supreme Court of Nigeria has now legitimized forgery, perjury, and forfeiture. They've legitimized them. They've set a precedent already, okay? And where this is headed can be like easily guessed by anybody who still has their mind, intact, so to say. So now that they've done that, there is going to be repercussions, okay? And that is what they won't tell you. Since there are those who never take responsibilities ever, right? They will eventually even blame you for what they have done. For those who believe that the judiciary have already murdered democracy in Nigeria, no, that is if you ever had anything called democracy in the first place, okay? Now, here is Goodluck Egbere Jolantan at the villa, Mr. Peacemaker, as usual. That was a welcome party. Then after the congratulations, okay, how are you? Then, well, all that stuff. Then he came out to advise Nigerians. He has one message for peace.
Luckily, you said that you've been seeing me every day. You'll see me every hour from now. I've been involved in a number of things in West Africa and in Africa. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to Kenya. On the 14th, I will be in Liberia for the rerun elections. That is what we've been doing. So I'm like a roving ambassador, seeing how we can bring peace to the sub-region, to the continent, and indeed, our country. This happened actually, it's almost like a week ago, but we couldn't. And today, it now coincided with the judgment of the Supreme Court yesterday. So it was an opportunity for me to also to congratulate Mr. President, and we talked a lot about the country. And so you'll soon see me, because there are certain things we discuss, and the country must move forward. And elections are over, so we must move forward.
So with the success of the transition in Nigeria, how do you see Nigeria leading Africa?
Yes, that is what all Africans are saying. I had the program, my foundation had what we call Democracy Dialogue, and Professor Lumumba spoke. He emphasized the need for Nigeria to take a lead in Africa. Because, yes, we have challenges economically now, but we still have what it takes to lead. And these are some of the issues I will continue to have a conversation with Mr. President, including briefing him on all my foreign programs, because they are not personal issues. As traditionally, former presidents go outside the country for this continental, regional program, even some international. You come home and you tell your president. So that's the tradition. So most of the time when you see me here, it's because of this thing that we must do. And to move Nigeria forward, to move ECOWAS forward, to move the African continent forward.
Your Excellency, with the current state of...
So for peace, you know what I mean? Yeah, even in injustice, even in fraud and all of that stuff, he has learned how to kind of play the game. Is the mistake. That guy was the mistake that gave birth to APC, Egbekegbe today. And for him to keep his own loot, himself and then his own, what do you call it? His own group, he just had to play ball with them and tell all of you that to move Nigeria forward is in your hands. Do you know that they have already started a campaign, but they've started this small? So right now they are asking Atiku and Obi to congratulate Tinubu. Now, Tinubu, who has been asking and then pretty much like begging for legitimacy all this while, begging for congratulations. Now, the obedient who are watching me right now have become their, of course, expected targets. You know what they are saying? They are saying that the failure of Obi to congratulate Tinubu has emboldened his supporters, and to continue to reject Tinubu, calling him not my president. Now, according to this APC, Egbekegbe, and their sewage dwellers, suffering and smiling sufferheads, those of you who failed to congratulate Tinubu, especially you obedient, you are going to be considered as economic saboteurs. Your criticism of Tinubu is going to be termed the reasons why Nigeria economy is not working. The reason why people are not investing in Nigeria, not because, the reasons why the Nigerian naira will continue to be devalued and devalued. Something happened today. They didn't tell you this morning. A dollar was sold for 1,321 naira. But it was at the same time when they received the tranche of $1 billion from the Afrexim Bank that promised them $3 billion 2 months ago. Immediately they got that. They quickly dispatched that 1 billion. And before noon, Naira managed to gain 116 Naira against the dollar. That is the one that jumped from 150 to over 200, then to over 300, though, right? So pumping that money into it quickly, helped them to kind of keep it at 113 Naira. Guess what? They said that it is the Supreme Court judgment that the market has reacted. The same voodoo economy of Buharinomics. Buhari and his gang, they met Nigeria Naira at 145 Naira official to a dollar and 190 Naira to a dollar at the parallel market. In a space of 4 years, when they started their round tripping, when they started all of the fraud with the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria Naira jumped from 190 Naira at the parallel market to over 500 Naira. Then they gained some money to pump in like Tifnubu just did, right? So the Naira now dropped to 450 Naira to a dollar. Now, so they started celebration. We told you the economy policy of Buhari is coming to work. Look at it now. The Naira has already crashed. Now, they took it to over 500. And how did they do that? Because they went borrowing for the rest of the country to go sorrowing. Then, when they couldn't find any dollars, to pump into it, why Nigeria continued to bleed economically, why they use that to kind of cover. And this money they were giving it to themselves. So not even like they actually like putting it in Nigeria economy to themselves through subsidy here, subsidy there, dollars. They were the most people who are taking the most dollars of the forex. So not those businesses in Nigeria. If the businesses in Nigeria have been those accessing those forex for real, for production and all that, Nigeria probably would have been better. The whole borrowed money would have made meaningful difference. Bokwari said he was borrowing money, right, to build roads, to build rails, to build this and that. By the time Bokwari was done, Nigeria was in debt of over $150 billion. And guess what? Roads, rail, bridge, every other, 90% of those projects that they borrowed the money for remained uncompleted today. 90%, not even like, say, 40% completed. 90% of so Nigeria became indebted. Nigeria Naira became more devalued until it got to 710 Naira. On the day Bokwari was handing over to Tifnumbu, Nigeria Naira was around 805, 810 Naira to a dollar. So these criminals who took you from, from frying pan to fire in 8 years, they are tapping themselves on the back and saying, if not because Bokwari's economy policies work, Nigeria Naira would have been like 2,000. They are saying that. So I told you, when Tifnumbu and his gang came and they met everywhere emptied. Now, let me explain this to you. That those who think majority of us will continue to out these criminals are wishing Nigeria bad. We are wishing them to fail. Listen to this. That I am exposing these criminals and telling you about their actions and the consequences of their actions does not mean that I am wishing evil on Nigeria, because wishes don't change anything, but doings. They have the capacity to do. Do you understand? So I said, the first thing Tinubu would have done, if indeed he promised you anything at all, and he wanted to be honest, was that he would tell you the damages done by Boko Haram. He will start from there. That's the first honesty. And let me describe these damages. Boko Haram emptied Nigeria foreign reserve. They used Nigeria foreign reserve, over $33 billion. They did not add a penny to Nigerian foreign reserve for 8 years, right? And everything they met in there, they now use that as a collateral. Nobody knows what they use the money for. Nigerian foreign reserve is now empty. This Boko Haram's government that took over from Egbere Jolantan, supposedly a corrupt government, Abi, they met $7.5 billion inside the excess crude account. Excess crude account is the account created to keep any excess money made from crude oil sale in Nigeria. Okay? And how do they determine excess crude money? In Nigeria, they have something called benchmark of what they expected the crude oil to be sold for, a barrel. So they now plan their budget based on that benchmark. Example, let's say a barrel of crude oil is sold for $80. Nigeria government and their budget office will budget or have a benchmark of, let's say, $50. Just in case, if the $80 will crash or increase, it doesn't matter. Now, they will now plan their budget based on how many crude oil they will sell, and how much money they will need to make. And they will then budget based on that $50 benchmark. You see, that difference of $30 on each barrel they sell will be kept in a separate account for a raining day. In a day when Nigeria naira or Nigeria economy will take any economic hit, you can easily go into those accounts, take those money and back your naira by pumping them into different sector of your economy instead of going abroad to borrow them with interest rates. You won't have to go. You just go into that account, take it, pump them into your, you know what I mean? A perfect idea, and Obasanjo put that in place. When Obasanjo was leaving, the balance in the account was about $22 billion, and he handed over to Yaradua. By the time Yaradua died, the balance in the account was about 18 billion. By the time Goodluck Jonathan was going to hand over to Buhari, the balance in the account was about $7.5 billion. By the time Buhari was going to hand over to Tinubu, the balance in the account is less than $500,000 as you are watching this video now. It's less than $1 million. Nigeria, giant of Africa's excess crude account, because there was no money anymore to make success. Nigeria started bleeding from day one that these criminals took over in 2015. Nigeria was losing over 700,000 barrels of crude oil every day. We calculated that too. That was like about 200 million barrels of crude oil or more under this criminal. So they emptied everywhere. Then they started, they started printing money. Apart from borrowing, they started printing money. In a space of 8 years, Boko Haram printed 27 trillion naira. If you change that to dollars, that is over $60 billion. That's how much Boko Haram printed in 8 years. Add all of this together, Nigeria was in debt to the point that Nigeria was unable to actually pay her debt anymore. Now, Nigeria is now servicing the debt. You know what servicing the debt means? It simply means you are owing, for example, you hold 100 naira. The agreement is that you are going to be paying 22 naira every month, 24 naira every year. Now, that is your repayment plan with interest. But if you miss the payments, we are going to charge you 50 kobo. Do you understand that? It's like we are going to charge you 1/4 of what you are supposed to be paying. Now, you can no longer afford to pay, so you miss your payment. So in order for you not to violate your loan agreement, you agree to, Nigeria, giant of Africa, agrees to be servicing the debts, servicing the interest, the charges on it. The debt remain the same, and they continue to pile up and pile up. That is the country they handed over to Tifnumbu. But because Tifnumbu himself is going to do worse to all of you, everything Bokwari did is precedent. Do you understand that now? And those who know better, they can tell you where Nigeria is headed. So if they tell you that you should forget election and then everybody should move on or move forward to where is Nigeria moving to? So that same Tifnubu is now giving you hope that is on lies. The ones that they have to actually do exactly what Bokwari did. They will print money. They will go everywhere for whatever they can get. Now, you see this temporary 113, be 1,100, be 1,000, even if they push it enough that they push it to 900, once that money, once that dollar they try to use to maintain it in a while is exhausted, it will take its jump again. And it is not because anybody is wishing it. It is what they are doing. You cannot be doing the same thing again and again and expect a different result. Nigeria is in a very, very bad place right now. But they are going to hold you responsible for that. One of these guys said that normally Peter Obi and Atiku, they wasted their time, they wasted everybody's time, and they should let Nigerians respect Tinubu. One of them is this Clark. I don't know if you have seen this.
Definitely not within the jurisdictional, conference of the Nigerian courts. Look, let us be honest with ourselves. Lawyers do not manufacture evidence. If evidence is available and they are aware of the evidence, their lawyers should have worked higher than what they have done now to have assembled all these facts. Failure, one, to assemble the facts at all, because they never brought these facts. And bringing these facts now at the time that the courts have, finished with the original matter, definitely they should have known that for any court in Nigeria to assume jurisdictional powers in a matter that has been declared sui juris, that has been declared as an election matter, which is governed by its own strict laws, I don't see why they could even think of bringing such a matter in directly to the Supreme Court. Their lapses are so much. They have not done a thorough, and I'm sorry to say this, I am sorry to say this, if not that this is politics we are talking about, no lawyer will be so tardy as to know what the law is, refuse to do what the law says he should do, and still believes that the law on its own can assume jurisdiction in which it is clear that it has no power to do.
So, Chief Clark, you're saying that, apologies, you're saying that Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi had a chance, but it looks like their lawyers bungled the case. Is that what you're saying?
I am not, with due respect to you, Sheung, I am not saying they fumbled the case. What I am saying is that they have not displayed a good sense of legal practitioners. They knew, and God bless all of us, we don't work for money alone. We work for prestige. We work on the facts, and we ensure that the law, carries the day if it has to. But where the law is not allowed to put its head up in a proceedings, it means there is another law
Which
nuisance lele. Nuisance lele.
Apologies to the original nuisance, because some people will sound like, if you call them nuisance or fools and all that, it's like you are even insulting the real fools, because theirs is even worse. And that is what they are trying to say now, that a lot of people still will see Tifnumbu as their president, and they're going to treat him like he's not. But they are going to bamboozle you in the coming days and weeks. Like I said, I will leave all of that to everyone during the People's Parliament. So we're going to get to that part soon. So on social media, there is this guy called Rarara. He happened to be the official, well, maybe unofficial, official, I wouldn't say, APC, Egbekegbe's musician in some part of northern Nigeria. And this guy seemed to have lived a larger than life lifestyle for a while under the same Bokwari. Wherever Bokwari went at the time, this Rarara is the guy that goes there to perform, sing his praises, and all of that. Then immediately, Tifnumbu became their presidential candidate. This same Rarara, or whatever his name is, was very much like prominent too. So this guy is now saying that he's upset that only two people worked more than him in making Tifnumbu president. That Tifnumbu has been asking people to recommend people for political position, that he also deserves to be given that same regard to appoint people inside the Tifnumbu's government. Is now, the Supreme Court is over now. May everybody just voice out. In fact, those who are also pretending to be who they were not, this is time for everybody to come out and ask for their own piece of cake. Share you get. Anyway, this or whatever. I'm gonna. You don't understand Hausa. I don't understand Hausa, but you will understand this if you pay attention.
Na ce zan yi jira kamar yadda muka gwamnatin Buhari, amma ba zan yi irin wancan jiran ba. Irin wancan jiran haka na jira awanni, na jira watanni, na jira shekaru har gwamnatin ta.
The same guy is now telling the world, he held a press conference and he's telling the world that Bukwari destroyed everything in Nigeria before he handed over. I didn't want to miss that out, but I'll tell you more when we listen to this.
Na ce zan yi jira kamar yadda muka gwamnatin Buhari, amma ba zan yi irin wancan jiran ba. Irin wancan jiran haka na jira awanni, na jira watanni, na jira shekaru har gwamnatin ta kare, a ƙarshe aka nemi rayuwata.
Shawaye za ka yi kenan idan ba a neme kan ba kenan, inda ka ce ba za ka yi irin wancan jiran ba.
A'a, ba wani magana tawaye zan yi ba. Ai abinda ko lokacin shugaban kasa Buhari, ai me ake cewa kyautata mai zato muka yi, amma dai na yi bakin kokari duk yadda zan yi in tarabci biya ma ga mai tawaye. Wanda ma ya je muna tare da mawaka da yawa, wasu za su bata da shi sai fara gaba da su, saboda zan ce sun kasa ma shugaban kasa uzuri. Wala Allah na ɗauki shawara, ina da shawarwari da yawa waɗanda ya kamata in je in kai gurin Buhari ba a karɓa ba. Wannan abin ya jawo matsaloli da yawa, dan ni ina jin abubuwan da ke ƙasa. Dan wannan iya kalma ya gaya min maganar da ba zai gaya ma shugaban ƙasa ba, ba zai gaya ma minista ba. Ni da na sani ya kamata ni in gaya ma minista ya gaya ma shugaban ƙasa. Wani lokacin idan ka tafi da shawara, kuskuren Buhari shine mutanen da ya ɗora ma ba su san mu da muka yi wahalar ba. To a wannan gabar ma an shiga cikin gwamnatin ana yin ministoci ko kuma an yi ministoci. Yawancin ministocin nan wasu za su ce ba sanni ba. Ka ko a gwamnatin Bola Ahmed Tinubu ka ce baka sanni ba ai kai ganganci. Saboda haka idan aka tafi haka aka ce an gama komai, ni ba a sanni ba. In je gurin minista bai ma gane waye ba, sai an ce mai ai wannan wakar that son jagaba shine jagaba ya ce to thank you kai kokari zan ganka. To ani bai ni na.
See, in a nutshell, share you get. At least you all remember Jagaba Sine Gaba Azuaju Jagaba Sine Gaba. That was it. I mean, that's the guy. So he's asking them that they need to take care of him more. I think this one is even funnier. Have you seen this?
An fito ana ta suka ta saboda ɗazu na yi bidiyo shi yasa yanzu na zo in mai da martani kuma in bayyana abin da nake nufi sanda kuke cikin tashin hankalin Jonathan ba ni ne waka ba Buhari ya ci zaɓe ko da na ce muku ku bani kiɗan janar a sama ba bani kuka yi ba ko ba ni ne waka ba a lokacin Buhari sai ai shekara 7 ba a sace mutum ko ɗaya ba a arewacin Najeriya waɗannan matan masu girgije jikinsu a cikin waƙoƙina ba dalilin su bane farashin dala ya sauka a Najeriya dan dai an ce yaban kai jahilci amma da sai in ga muku cewa duk wani ci gaba da Buhari ya kawo a lokacin sa ni na ga mishi yadda ake kuma yanzu da nake wa Tinubu waka ba ku ga yadda abinci da
It is smoke Igbo. It is take Indian.
Somebody making a joke out of that, so I don't want to bore you with that, okay? So you know, pretty much it. I have my parliamentarians already popping up, okay? So I don't kind of feel like holding them much longer. So I'm going to give you as up now, okay? Which means if you are interested in joining us, the link is right there in your comment, all right? Use that, set it up. Make sure you are not using the same device, okay? And make sure the camera is on to show that you are ready. Keep your microphone mute and then stay in a well-lit place where we can see your face. And I also appeal to you to please put on some clothes. Don't join us while you are like bare-chested and all that. We see you beforehand, so I won't admit you if you are like that, okay? Please put the video on so that we can see your full face and all that, and put it somewhere you know you be comfortable, so to say. And then we are going to get on, okay? Thank you very much. I've started seeing the parliamentarians joining, or for those who are yet to put on their own cameras, please do, so that will mean you are ready and I can bring you on, okay? So tonight on the People's Parliament, I know a lot of us have a lot to say, and many of us kind of misses out on different conversations we've had over time, where you couldn't call in, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I've been trying to call in, I never had the chance of calling in." So because it was always so busy. People's Parliament is where you can actually join. I know things are about to go south now, and a lot of us would rather remain anonymous. I understand, but there are courageous people enough that will actually speak their minds, because at least if you won't die, you will at least speak your mind, won't you? Anyway, I am going to bring my first parliamentarian, and that's African Wahala, brother.
Yes,
Everyone else to please put on their. This is what it is like, okay? The setup is when you use the link, it's going to ask you to put on your name for easy identification, and then just so African Wahala.
Yes,
Primarily, we would start when we have more than 5 who are ready. I have about 8. I don't know if they just could yet. Sorry, man. Yeah. So usually on the People's Parliament, to everyone who is currently watching, you can be on the screen as well if this is your first time, and how to get in is easily described in the comments. Don't feel it is later. You may not have that chance at the last minute. Usually when people wait till like after an hour or two, they may never have a chance of getting in. This traffic could have built up there. I mean, it would have built up then, okay? So to those who are already in and ready, they have shown that they are ready. I'm going to them all, okay? Thank you very much for that. And like I said, People's Parliament is where you have a chance of sharing your views on just anything and everything, okay? And probably should get started with the first parliamentarian who is at the African Wahala. And then I've got Kenneth on the screen. So I want you to please mute your microphone. Yes, please. So that when it is your turn, you can, excuse me, you can unmute and then we can, get on with you. So the African Wahala, how are you, Baba?
Yes, sir. I'm doing very well, my brother. Thank you so much for having me.
Please.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you, Mayego, for putting yourself out there. We know how risky this business is, but some people have become courageous and they've decided to speak up. No matter what it takes, we will continue to push for the end of the slavery that we find ourselves in. So I wanted to talk about the Nigerian youth population. You know, we have one of the largest birth rates in the entire world, where I believe the average woman is giving birth to 5 children or something like that. These children are the ones that are indoctrinated in primary school, secondary school, singing the national anthem, saying the national pledge. Then they grow up to be 10, 11-year-olds. They've been fully indoctrinated into believing that they have a country, that they are citizens. Now, a lot of them are the ones in the next 8 years, they are about 19 years old. They have the opportunity to vote for the first time. 2027 elections, they will participate. So when many of us are like, stop wasting your time trying to participate in another election, it's not going to yield any results. Unfortunately, we have tons of babies that are born every day, and we have them to educate. So that's the problem that we are facing. One of the problems that we are facing, where the country, the so-called country, it's not a country, but the so-called country is churning out millions of people that we have to contest against because they genuinely believe that they have a country up until they turn maybe 25. Then they realize, oh my God, this is a scam. Then it's hard to get out of the mess. So I just thought I'd put that out there for people to understand that, man, we have a lot to deal with. Finally, the only way to get out of this mess is to implement the power of the people. A couple of days ago, Princess had a very powerful speech. She was talking about the people need to go out in large numbers and protest nonstop because you can't kill millions of people. When the people go out there to protest nonstop for 60 days, for example, you have 25 million people across different regions of the country protested. The soldiers, the DSS, the police, they've already shot and killed 500 people. That's it. They'll kill 500, but the other millions of people are still there. At some point, the soldiers and the police are going to drop their weapons and join the people because that's the only power that the people have. The numbers. The only power that the people have is the numbers. So this is an opportunity for me to encourage people, speak out, and if possible, physically attend any protest or rally against this evil contraption that we find ourselves in. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Mayego General, salute to you, great brother. Salute to all the parliamentarians. I encourage you guys to come in, click on the StreamYard button on top, come and share your point of view. If you're an Agbadorian, come through, come and make fun of us. Come and tell us that, hey, you guys are going to cry for 8 years. No problem. Come through, come and make fun of us. We need to have that conversation. Be bold. Come and talk to us. Tell us why you're supporting your death, because that's what's going to happen. Your death is what you're supporting. Thank you so much.
God bless you, the African Wahala. Brother, stay safe. Thank you so much. That is African Wahala there. We are then going to go to Ken. Sorry, people are still kind of dropping out. I'm going to be removing some people who's for some reasons have kept their camera off still in the background so I can open the space for those who are trying to get on, okay? And then please stay on your screen so that will show that you are ready. I don't want to bring anybody on who is still trying to either put on clothes or who is still trying to do other things in the background. Please. Thank you very much. Kenneth, Sir Ken, This is your face again. You are part of the parliament tonight, sir.
Yes, Michael, good evening. For the parliamentarians and everybody. It's I'm I'm just gonna try and make my contribution extremely very short. If I could, I'll try and make it short. So let us look at the holistic situation for which the Nigerian state is in now. What we have is a bunch of syndicates, a bunch of very few people who are literally calling the shots, running the country the way as if they are running their own private enterprise. Even if they were running their own private enterprise, they will not run it down to the point whereby literally there is nothing in there to be salvaged. But in the case of Nigeria, as you can see, you will see that what we're experiencing is a situation whereby uh, the Nigerian people themselves allowed this. They allowed this, and this continue to go on for a while. Now, when in this platform we keep talking about like Nigerians are not, they are irredeemable, they are this and they are that. Yes, this is what we've been saying all along. I personally, for once, have had that experience whereby I have been to Nigeria a couple of times. I have had conversation with some of these people, and I see that even the ones that are supporting their oppressors clearly shows that they've been subjected to a life of where they can't. It's like a quagmire. They can't just get out of it. They've been placed there, kept there, and they just can't see the light. So we're dealing with something else here, people. I'm telling you, it's unimaginable. Where you have the government of the day has completely bought over almost all the institution of the state. And the institution of the state are literally at the beckon of these vampires. So for me, if you ask me what will be the solution, there are two parts here. Two parts. The first part is what we've been singing all along. That this marriage called the Nigerian state, and the constitution for which they are operating, it's just not visible. Let us call this thing for what it is. That is one. The second part is that if anything is going to come out of this thing called Nigeria, for crying out loud, we have a situation whereby it is absolutely a joke, whereby it simply means that how do we have a country called Nigeria, and yet there are sections of Nigerians that they don't, in fact, they are likely not going to even smell or even take part in that country called Nigeria as a president. So to answer that second part, it simply means that if anything has to come out of it, it means the entire system really has to change on the second part. But then, on the final note, is that we're in it's a quagmire. We're in a very, very bad place. The exchange rate is 1,000 plus. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's going to go up to 2003, the way the pace at which it's going. They're only just trying to do patch and manage to just look for money to just put into the system, just to suppress, just to counter it. But for how long? That is a mystery. But we're in a very dire situation here, and I want to be positive, but unfortunately, I can't be positive when I'm looking at what the situation is telling me, and it's really sad. Michael, you were saying something some time ago, and all of a sudden I think I was calling you, and then I opened my mouth when you made that statement. Ever since then, I have gone back to the drawing board, been looking at that particular video and that particular statement, and with this decision of the Supreme Court, I just said to myself, "Hey, I think we're in a deep shit. Yeah, we're in a hole, and it takes the grace of God." But great job, Michael. That's the best I can say for at this point. At the parliamentarians, best of luck, everybody.
I mean, I know. Thanks a lot for that. And that's very brilliant, by the way. So I'm going to go to the next step person, and you have a wonderful day over there, okay? So that's Kenneth. I have another kind of ready parliamentarian. So thank you so much.